Welcome to the Valdosta Daily Times Weekend Update. I'm your host, news reporter Brittany McClure, and I'm here at Ashley Hall at Valdosta State University, where I will be speaking to history instructor Jimmy Tall about the purpose of daylight savings time.
Well, since the energy crisis of the 1970s, the oil crisis of the 1970s, we've kind of institutionalized daylight saving time. And today we jump the clock ahead 1 hour, obviously in the spring, and then we fall back, obviously in the fall. But the reason today that's given is, for the most part, it saves energy and therefore saves money. It actually dates back to the mid-19th century, some say even further than that, dealing with the railroad industry, who was looking for standardized time for traveling and shipping purposes. And it was first proposed in 1870 by a man by the name of Charles Dowd, who decided we needed 4 time zones, but he proposed a north-south division of time zones, with the center being at Washington, D.C. And people considered it preposterous, and they didn't want government telling local people what to do. In the day, people simply looked at the sun. When it was straight up in the sky, they simply set their clocks to 12 o'clock. For every minute of longitude that you move west, you're 4 minutes later, and it just simply didn't make any sense. Clocks were off. So the Railway Association in the United States in 1883 set up a general time convention with their secretary, William Allen, and they decided on 4 time zones with an east-west border. And in 1883, we set standard time up. And we remained like that for many, many years, although not all states were involved in it. When the Great War, World War I, broke out in 1914, Imperial Germany went to daylight saving time to save fuel for the German war machine, which was coal in those particular days. And pretty soon the United Kingdom and Ireland and France and Belgium, Luxembourg, and other allied nations followed suit. We passed a Standard Time Act in 1918, and we followed suit for the exact same reason, to save fuel for the war effort. However, when the war was over in 1918 and we signed a treaty in 1919, we simply repealed. Matter of fact, over President Wilson's veto, Congress repealed the daylight saving time simply due to the fact that people hated it. They just simply did not want it. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor and we entered the war, in the year 1942 through 1945, Franklin Roosevelt pushed Congress for daylight saving time, and he got it. In 2005, the United States government passed the Energy Policy Act, and part of that act, which went into effect in 2007, was daylight saving time as we see it today, the second Sunday in March through the first Sunday in November. And you know, it has pretty much been accepted by everybody. You know, it's as controversial today as it was almost 100 years ago. Some people say it saves money, some say crime goes down, some say we get more sunlight, therefore we get more vitamin D, we're better psychologically and physically. On the other hand, a lot of people say that it costs too much money, kids are going to school in the dark, and that's dangerous. A lot of other people, from a health standpoint, say we get too much sunlight, and that leads to more cancer in society. One of the reasons why I think we dropped daylight saving time in 1919 is because we were in the 3rd wave of the influenza epidemic, and the 3rd wave was the worst, and we simply didn't want people congregating outside amongst one another. And you know, that's still a health reason, just like people use health reasons today. And you know, in a nutshell, that's basically what's occurred over the last 100 years.
Don't forget to set your clocks 1 hour forward Sunday when you go to bed. Thank you for watching the Valdosta Daily Times Weekend Update. I'm your host, news reporter Brittany McClure, and I will see you next week.